I've given you all a ball, which is good. Why don't I give you all a ring as well, so you can play with what those feel like. Yeah, so you all know the hundreds already, probably. We'll just play with the different variations here. So the hundreds, what kind of exercise is it? Concentric, eccentric, or isometric? Concentric. To get there, but the exercise itself is isometric. Right. So the very beginning hundreds is just feet down, right? Neutral to start. Hands at my side, exhaling, rolling up, and I'm pulsing the arms, right? So the key with the pulses, is that I'm reaching, connecting my lats. If I connect in my lats, it makes it really easy on my neck, right? If I start to fatigue in my lats and my abs, I start lowering and I start reaching here. Now that's what you see all the time, right? The neck is working hard. That's not where we want you to be in any upper ab thing when you're doing the work. So especially not the hundreds. Right, so that's one thing to really remember, is that I'm going to reach up, I'm going to connect through the lats. So if I do that, this exercise is easier when I have resistance in my arms because it gives me something to push in. So technically, this is easier on the reformer than on the mat. However, people put too much weight or they don't connect, and then they feel like it's harder on the reformer because they're fighting that weight up here instead of pushing into it and letting it help them come up. Right? So that's one thing to remember. You want to teach that and feel that connection into the lats with your hundreds. And then the other thing is on the breathing. Right? So I like to use a long inhale, nice inhale for 5 counts. But on the exhale, it's really important that it is that percussive exhale. And every time with that percussive motion, I can sink my tummy. So I can go sink, 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 inhale. Exhale, drawing in every time. So by the 5th one, I really cannot drop my stomach any more than it's already dropped, is the idea. Right? And so the idea with the props, so we're talking about Pilates traditional powerhouse here. So that is the inner thighs, right? Glutes and deep abdominals. So using the props sometimes activates the inner thighs, right? So I can use this to help me get more inner thigh activation, and some people find it a lot easier at this stage to have something there to hold on to. I can use it in tabletop. I could do a ball or a ring and just hold tabletop. I could use it when I'm extended out, and now I can really squeeze and get that feeling of connection all the way in the inner thighs into my core. Right, so that's why using props is sometimes helpful. So, okay, beginners here. Intermediate, I'm going to start here and roll up. That's going to be my intermediate hundreds position. And then the advanced, I'm going to start in tabletop, and I'm going to move to the extended position. That is my advanced version of my hundreds. Yeah? So I'm not going to make you do 3 different full hundreds.
I was just going to ask you.
So why don't you try something that is not familiar to you. Start in the beginner position, somewhere along the way move into the advanced, and then somewhere intermediate, and somewhere along the way let's move you into advanced. If you want to have the ring beside and try and feel what those positions feel like, you're welcome to do that. And I'll give you a couple minutes to play with the positions after we go through one round of hundreds. So here, take your hands down by your sides, take a breath in, and you're going to exhale. Reach the fingertips down towards your heels and roll the head upward. And here we go, connecting those lats, breathing in, 2, 3, 4, 5, out. In, 2, 3, 4, 5, out. So now really think about the length in the back of the neck, right? So I'm going to keep lengthening and coming up and over so that my chin's, I've got that little ball here between my chin and my chest idea, right? And I'm lifting long. I'm using the rib cage to bring the head up. That's it. Good. Why don't you try switching positions of the legs as you go. Keep the arms pulsing. Good. So if you're free, you're going to squeeze the legs together if there's no object between them. 2, 3, 4, 5. That's out. In, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out. Try one more leg position. I think they should try that advanced in some way, shape, or form. In, 2, 3, 4, 5, out. 2, 3, 4, 5. In, 2, 3, 4, 5, out. And 200 later, take a breath in and exhale, rolling your way back down to your start position. Right. Yeah. So there's a lot of different things you can play with in this position. You're going to see hundreds here, springboard, mat, reformer. So we're going to, on the Cadillac, we're going to have a lot more hundreds to play with. But I think it's really good to try when you're practicing on your own. Try with different things, see what it feels like. And just remember that the basics are that head position and the abs. Now some people cannot roll their heads up. You could modify the exercise with the head down. I prefer that than a one-hand supported exercise. So some people, their necks get tired, and they do what I was doing while I was talking to you, supporting the neck like this and doing 100. I feel like that's a little bit lopsided, and so I prefer, what I feel is more important is this lat connection. So I prefer that they come up for as much as they can, they roll the head down, and they leave it, and they're working on this lat connection even here. Right, I'm still working hard. I'm doing a lot of working here. Now I'm doing it on both sides with my head down here. Oh, yeah. So if you really wanted to, you could put a little towel roll or something underneath their head. Now that's safe for people with osteoporosis and with neck issue. And so now I can feel the chin tuck, right? And I'm still getting that lat connection rather than being a little lopsided and trying to reach with one arm and going off center a bit.
That's what I was thinking is the osteoporosis.
Yeah.
Osteoporosis, and they're elderly or a beginner.
Right. So then I would have them, I would work it here. And your work is, you teach training their abs, and you're training their side bodies, their lats and their pull, right? So this is a great exercise. I use it in almost all my classes on the mat with everybody, and I just have them modify it to what's appropriate, because the most advanced person can be doing the same count as the most beginning person on this, right? So it's great, and it's back safe. So it's just the necks you have to watch out for. But if they're not feeling it here, you could prop them up a little with something under their head, and then they get a little bit more of that feeling of the connection here. And you could prop them up quite a ways, and they'll still be safe. Most people with neck things can be propped up and be very safe. So don't worry about that. If you're working in a class setting, you might not do that because it's just too much time to organize. If you're working at an individual, you could do that, right? And just give them something to put behind their neck so that they don't have to hold it up themselves.
With the advanced, do you always keep your feet in turnout? Do you ever flex your feet?
I always keep them in turnout, pointed turnout. I think that's more the classic.
Pointed turnout.
Oh. Pointed turnout.
I always do. I don't know why. I don't know why.
It's usually, there are a few times where Pilates flexes feet, but so that would be on your stomach, heel clicking.
Yeah.
But for the most part, your toes are always pointed.
Will you show me the advanced and what your feet look like?
Oh, sorry. So I'm rolling up, coming into that position there.
Oh.
So it's a mini V.
So
I
also
always
much like the
flex.
ball,
Yes,
I would
it
also
still turned out.
be turned up.
Yes,
And that's great.
it's turned out. So we're getting the powerhouse, which is inner thighs, glutes, rotators, low belly. So you're going to use that turnout to activate all of that. The zip up, the wrap, the Pilates wrap. You'll hear me talk about that a lot on the reformer too, and all the pressing, the frogs and the turned out presses. All of that ends you in this Pilates wrapped position. So my legs are connected. They shouldn't be floppy open. You've heard me say that with the feet in the straps. There should always be a connection there. They're not gonna, even when your legs are open, there's a connection here. Nobody should be able to come along and just move your leg out to the side.
Is there ever a reason why you want to be in parallel, like not have a turnout for hundreds or?
For hundreds, not necessarily. For other things, like working on a foot bar, yeah, what would be my purpose in doing that? Why would I want to work somebody in parallel?
Knee alignment.
Alignment.
Calf.
What else do we do in parallel in life?
Walk.
Yeah. We walk, we run, we move in parallel. So the purpose of strengthening and turnout is to get those muscles strong.
Got it.
But then when I turn parallel, I still want that connection. It's just harder to feel it in parallel. So it's good to work in turnout, but then we're going to be functional in parallel. Unless the only thing we ever do in life is ballet.
Love that.
You don't need any parallel in ballet. You could do the whole thing without knowing parallel.
Would you also work a little bit more in parallel, like if pelvic floor is tight?
You might, well, you might. So if we're talking, if the pelvic floor is tight, actually no. What I would not do is turn in.
Okay.
If the
But you
pelvic
can
floor is tight.
Still be out.
You can be out.
You can still be out, okay.
Yeah, I would not be turning in.
Okay.
When we were doing the single leg circles and we had the anchor leg on the ground, I was keeping it in
Parallel.
flex
Oh, and flex?
position. Whoa.
Yeah, I think that is you can do that. I find that if I point the foot, I don't know if you can see my quad, but if I point, I get more quad. I have to
Okay.
work hard to get that quad in flex. I don't feel as connected,
Okay.
right? But here, if I point, I feel like I get the energy going out. Same thing with the top leg, although here we can accent the heel press. I can heel press and try and straighten and stretch. But I find that I connect better when I'm here. But I don't think there's any problem. If you
Okay.
feel like you connect better
Okay.
on a flex foot on the ground, I don't think there's any problem with that. I just find that I can't connect as well. I feel like the energy ends then where I want the energy to go.
Okay.
So. Okay, so practice your hundreds. And then the variation, there is a super 100, which I did not include right here. We'll see it later in some of the other things that we do, where Joe Pilates actually came at the 100, and I think you'll see that in the classic. He starts flat on the ground and comes into the 100. So
Right.
he starts here now. I'm not fantastic at the stuff here because I don't have quite the strength to really stabilize and hold. I can do it for a couple seconds, but you're going to take a breath in. You're going to exhale, scooping there into his legs are right there. But as you can see, I'm not quite where I want to be. I want to be
Right.
there. I can hold it, but then I start to fall out, right? And I don't want to be arched. I want to be pressed into the floor. Imprinted. Yeah. So he starts his exercise from here and exhales coming up and pulses here. Right? But if I don't imprint, I'm in my rectus. And so with my legs that low, I have a really hard time imprinting there. Yeah, but some people, so longer torso, Sarah, that's not bad. Yeah, that's not bad at all.
It's harder.
It's hard. So a longer torso person with shorter legs will have a much easier time. Not that it's an excuse, so they can work towards, yeah. It's hard to find that imprinted place from here. I find it's much easier to get into the imprinted place and then lower the legs. But classically, and that's a really good example Sarah has. So classically, that's how you come at it. Yes. So it's food for thought and toys to play with, right? So you can work on it, work through it, but this is why we teach it the way we teach it now versus from flat to up, because it's really hard to get that scoop otherwise.
Is the little V the same as Pilates?
Yes, little veer Pilates.
How do you describe your style of teaching or method?
I think I think it's a little bit more progressive, but I think it's within sort of the West Coast Pilates philosophy. The East Coast Pilates philosophy is still very flat back, everything in flat back. So mine, I use the flat back or the imprint when I feel like it's necessary or when I feel like it's safer. But I also use a lot of neutral spine. So I think neutral spine is very functional. I think that's sort of the consensus, I would say, in California, for sure, and even into Arizona. And I think it's the consensus with everybody who's using rehab, Pilates rehab. I think if you go, there are other people who are doing the classic Pilates, and we're talking about that Grotz equipment that they use. It's very similar to the original equipment that Pilates developed. They are more in flat back and scooped all the time. And more adamant about that you should follow Pilates order in his exact repertoire, but then it's going to be all flat backed. And the posture that comes out of that is the Pilates posture, which is his original posture, which is this, right, tucked here and there. So straight, no curving spine, which is not what we really know to be
Yeah.
the best place to be now. It should be there, right? So in my curves, but strong and stable. So, okay, so then rollover is pretty much the same as in the classic position. Hip ups, we did hip ups last time, and we did kneecaps up to the ceiling. I think I had you try that too, just to feel the contraction in here. I'll review those for you, and then I'll show you the rollover, and then let you try that. So that is, so the hip ups we were doing from here. I first showed you the kneecaps up to the ceiling, right? I'm going to tighten here and try and, as if I'm doing a coccyx curl without my feet on the ground, right? So that's trying to deepen here, squeeze the glutes, wrap in, and lift the knees upward, right? So not a very big motion. And then the hip up was taking a breath in, exhaling, going up, actually across, and then rolling back down to there. I think that was my hip up. Exhaling and inhaling back down. And if you get good at it, you could do that without even pressing down. So it's really not about the arms, it's very much about the deep abdominals. So the rollover.
No, we didn't have
We didn't do it. Okay.
I'm the only
Well,
one.
here we go. Now we're done. I must have missed it. I think it's in that earlier stuff. Well, if not, I'll make sure. Let me just write a note to check on that.
I don't remember that.
No, we none of us remember that. We can't all be.
No, you can't all be wrong.
It's not in the concept.
It's not in the. Is it in the pre-Pilates? Possibly, and we missed it, or maybe I did. Maybe it just not make it in here. I'll check it later. But I'll show it to you now so you can know them all. Okay, so then rollover is the legs up here. I'm going to take a breath in. I'm going to go up, open, and I'm going to roll down one vertebra at a time. Right? Bring the feet together and come back up. And exhale, rolling back down, articulating through the spine and together. Right? So why don't we try those three? I'll take you through all of them.
You start in tabletop
So
and
start
then
in tabletop, and we're doing kneecaps up. I call it kneecaps up. This is sort of my own variation. So bent legs in tabletop. You're gonna take a breath in, squeeze those knees together, and lift the kneecaps up towards the ceiling, and then releasing back down. Yep, not bringing, the thighs should not move towards you. So they're gonna stay straight up vertical, right? So
You're just moving like an inch?
yeah, that's it. Tiny, yes, the more the better. So you're wrapping those, not using momentum. Squeeze together. Yes, coccyx curl. That's the idea. That's it. Use those abs more. You'll go further.
I
Yes.
don't know where to go. Can you touch it?
Squeezing together.
Yeah.
Right. Pulling in. Good. And the kneecaps coming up.
Up.
Yes. So do a coccyx curl. Yep, do it all from here. Yep. Do it again, so on the roll. Coccyx curl all from here. Right. Now pick your legs off the ground and do a coccyx curl. Yes. That's it. That'll take your knees up. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Not easy.
No.
Right? But this is backstage. So that's why I like it. And you should really feel those deep abdominals working hard.
Gosh, yeah.
Yeah?
How do you cue to,
Relax.
yeah,
Sometimes I have them pick them up off the floor.
like
Yeah.
this?
Yeah, so that they can't push with the arms. And then they're really working hard in that
Oh,
lower.
yeah.
Yeah? So
And
let's,
finally, you don't even need to really think about that if you're just thinking
it's
of.
this, it's coccyx curl.
Yeah, and that's gonna happen
That
because of
happens
that.
because of that.
Okay.
And then try crossing the feet over in the tabletop. So this is hip up. You're going to cross the feet over, take a breath in, and you're going to exhale, hollowing the belly and coming over onto the thoracic shelf. So exhale, lifting the hips up. Good. And then articulating your way down. So keep the knees bent, Sarah. Yep, one vertebra at a time. Hollowing, controlling all that motion.
It's hard not to use your arms with
It's
that.
hard not to use your arms, and it's hard to articulate your spine and really control. So pull in that low belly, rolling down one vertebra at a
Can you
time.
go far enough?
Yes, I think you did go far enough. Yeah, so you want to make sure you're not on your neck. This is one, didn't we talk about lifting your head? We talked about that with bridging. Trying to lift your head or trying to say your name without it sounding all
Oh, right.
squashed. right? So not so far up on the neck. Yes.
Oh, it's really hard to do this.
Yeah,
Up
without
the
your arms.
Yeah.
So get good at it, get strong so that you can use your lower body and not your arms.
We go straight down the middle.
Straight down the
Not
middle.
side.
It's all straight down the middle. Okay, so here's the big piece of your homework, ladies.
Yeah.
Is going to be getting these hip ups. All right, so let's stay right there and take your legs straight up to the sky. Now you're in a little V, right? Taking a deep breath in, exhaling, taking the legs overhead. Right, up and over. Good, hold there. Open the feet, so flex now, and stretch through the heels as you come down. So think of opposition, right? There's an elastic band pulling your heels towards your head, and your spine's rolling down the opposite direction. Bring the legs down and circle back together in V. Right? Exhaling, straight knees, Patricia, straight knees. Open the feet, reach not so wide. Yep, now reach the heels away, articulating down, one vertebra at a time. Bring the legs down, keep the knees straight, and squeeze together. Yep. One more time, up and over. Good, not on your neck, Kim. Drop down.
Too far?
Yep,
Okay.
yep, thoracic shelf. Good, and then rolling back here. So the only difference with the Pilates Classic and what we're doing here is that I'm not letting you go on your neck. He does a lot on his head and neck.
Yeah, he does,
Okay,
yeah.
so the motion is the same, but the motion is the same, but if you look at the picture in his book, he's on his neck. And I'm not letting you do that.
So stay on the
Thoracic shelf.
thoracic shelf.
Yep, thoracic shelf. The kneecaps up or the feet up? Yes, I do that sometimes too, but it's hard for people who are very beginner because they don't have the hamstring length and the wrap usually, so you can do it here too. Right, just try to lift straight up and down, straight up. But I think they feel it more here, and this is more like I can take them right from coccyx curl. So a lot of people will push into the floor to get coccyx curl. This will teach them to pull from here to get coccyx curl. Right? We really want them here, not pushing from the floor. So you say lighten the feet, okay, now take your feet off the ground. Now coccyx curl, right? And then I get my motion that I'm after.
So even before would be the coccyx.
Coccyx curl would be before you pass up.
Yes, and we'll get to jackknife.
What's that?
We'll get to jackknife.
Jackknife we're going to get to later. That's just for you to put in your mind that you have to have this foundation to get on towards the jackknife.
And then when your legs come back together, at what angle?
90 degrees you should be set for the next, you should be back. So they're actually going to go below 90 to
Yeah, like
circle
Chevy's
down.
down here a little bit.
Yeah, so you're going to go down.
And then if your back pops up,
Then you
You're
can't go
going
so
too
far.
far.
You're going too far. Right, so I'm going to go here, over, open, flex down, keep imprinted, come circle, and back.
so as long as your back is flat.
As long as my back is flat, my legs can go. So if I'm really good or really proportioned right, or both, then I can take my legs way down, come together, and then back up. Yeah, but it's about stability, right? So I don't push people to go further unless they need more challenge, which is not for a while. You know, I have some of my dancers who've been doing it for years that can do that kind of thing, but that's it.